Talmor, Shishin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The Heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.
Hello world, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Coming In. I'm your host, Jillian Clare. So this past weekend, I went to Joshua Tree with a couple close friends for a friend's birthday, and it was so much fun. We stayed at this Airbnb called Wild Heart Ranch, and they have like a mystery built into the house. So it's kind of like an escape room within the Airbnb. That also involves going into the desert, which we did not know when we started doing it at night. And so then we obviously went to the desert at night, which may not have been the best decision we've ever made, but it was so much fun. I posted a reel on my Instagram if you want to see kind of what it's like. I'm not posting all of the clues or all of the sound of the clues because obviously I want you to experience it for yourself if you end up going one day. But it was so fun, and it was so nice to just get out of the city for a safe weekend and be with friends and play a lot of board games and drink wine and just kind of hang out and chill. But even that, like, I got back on Sunday and I was still like, I was wiped out. Like all of Monday I barely did anything except for watch trash TV. Because I was so tired. What else is going on? Not much, kids, not much. Oh, I actually want to say something. I've been doing this mood chart in my bullet journal. So I've been marking down like how I feel every day. At the end of the day, what my emotions were like, if I was tired, if I was energetic, if I was productive, if I was happy, if I was sad, all of those things. And it's been really interesting to look at the different days and see kind of what the trends were, and then going back and knowing like what happened on those days. But it's funny, I feel like on the days where you're like unproductive and you're just like, oh man, I just need to chill out today, I need to not do anything. It's like this, the psychology around it is like your brain thinks that you're doing something wrong for just taking a day and not doing anything. It's like, oh my God, I wasn't productive today. How do I fix that tomorrow? How do I do double the amount of things tomorrow? And then when you look at this mood chart, and I realize that out of the entire month, there was only 2 days where I just really didn't do much. That's crazy to me, because I feel like there were more days like that, but there weren't. Anyway, if you're trying to kind of track your emotions and your trends and that kind of stuff, I highly, highly suggest doing a mood chart. It's nice to like go back and see like, oh, I actually am happy a lot of the time, which sounds weird, but it's nice to see that on paper and be like, oh yeah, the good days do outweigh the bad. It's just that your brain constantly thinks about the bad rather than the good. So it's a fun little way to see how your mind's tricking you. Anywho, there's that. What else? I think that's it. Okay, so today on the podcast, I have one of my best friends since I was 12 years old, Mr. Brett DelBuono. And he's been on shows like The Cleaner and House and Private Practice, Weeds, Mad Men, all that kind of stuff. You may remember him from the Netflix film XOXO. and he's working all the time. But he truly is one of my best friends, and it's funny that we haven't talked on here before. So I figured, why not? Let's get Brett on the show and see how many bad jokes we can turn out within the next 30 minutes or an hour, whatever. Anyway, here's my conversation with Brett. And welcome to the show, Brett.
Hi, it's me, Brett.
It's you, Brett. I was thinking about how weird it is that I've been doing this show now for a while and I haven't had you on. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I love you no matter what.
Okay,
So,
good.
We good.
We're good. But you're my 80th episode, so that's a pretty cool number to be.
No way. That's sick.
And eight's the best number in my opinion. So, 80th
Sure, I'll take
episode?
it. I'm 80th, so 80 is the best number technically.
Ever.
Whoever was
ever
8th
made.
sucks.
That 8th person can go suck it.
I don't know who the 8th person was, so I actually feel bad saying that.
I 100% forget. Honestly, I forget who's been on the show and who hasn't been on the show. It's just been like, I don't know, crazy. Anyway, now that you're here, so for listeners, Brett and I have been friends since we were 12 years old. We did a pilot
about 5 years.
About 5 years, yeah. We did a pilot for Fox together, and it was a very short-lived series, and that's how we met. But I mean, you were out here for a couple years before that, right?
Yeah. I started working in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from, and then I went on to New York, as you do on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then did a movie that went to Sundance and met some people who said, you should try LA. And around, 11 and a half, maybe 11 was the first time I came out here. And started working, thankfully, relatively quickly after that, and decided to stay. And I haven't left.
And you're still here. You're still in the whole of Los Angeles.
I'm still in the lovely, if you can hear the construction outside, that's Los Angeles. Welcome.
Just constant construction and
I've lived here for 2 years, and there's been honking and construction nonstop. So
that's annoying. So you came out to LA and then you started working, and then, I mean, you've been working essentially your whole life, like me.
Yeah.
And you've done a crap ton of different TV series. Like, what was your favorite guest spot that you've done? Because you did like Mad Men and Private Practice and House and Weeds and all of them that were popular.
My favorite guest spot. Jeez, it's put me on the spot. No, my
sorry.
There's been a lot that were fun just because, like, they were silly. So I did a NCIS where I died pretty quickly in it. But just the makeup of that and the fact that I had to lay down in dirt for that was part of my makeup, and they were like, just put some more sticks and twigs on his face, it'll look good, and it did. I looked very much dead. But like stuff like that's always funny because I rob it's aired, so I can say that I rob a bookie, and then he drugs me and I drive off the road and die. No one knows how it happens. Sorry for spoiling.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, most of the time, whenever there's some weird, like I think I had my chest cut open. I'm trying to remember what show it was on. I think that was on
Emily. Is that the one?
No, that one I had an STD. That was the worst part of.
You always
Emily
have
Owens.
The weirdest roles. Like, it's always the strangest thing. Like, let's put a whole cast on his face and do some sort of a suit that he's going to be in. I feel like you're.
Oh yeah, that's actually. You know what? Now that you say that. Probably one of my favorites was Private Practice. I was in a full fat suit, and it was really cool for multiple reasons, just to kind of semi-experience what it might be like to be. I was supposed to be 550 pounds, and the suit itself weighed I think 75 or somewhere around 75 pounds. So, and I was like 18, 19 at the time, in good shape, and I walked by these girls who were on the lot, and I just smiled and waved, and I got the weirdest response and forgot that I was in a full fat suit at 550 pounds. So they saw me as, a 550-pound man. And I was like, why did they look away quickly? I just smiled. And then I was like, oh, that really kind of sucks. But yeah, that was a really cool experience, getting to do that for 3-4 days. And, working with some great actors, really emotional stuff. So yeah, that one actually probably wins. Thank you for mentioning a full face cast.
You're welcome. Well, it's, the fact that it's still in your house and you can't miss it. Just really
there's
that's
2
in your brain.
Actually, it's right here.
Yeah. I will always remember this just because of that just creepy thing sitting in your office.
I have 2 of them.
Let's talk a little bit about The Cleaner, because it was a show that you were on when you were a kid. You were tiny. I remember visiting set and how cool it was. But it was a cool show that you kind of like got to grow up on a little bit and spend a little time on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was, it was transformative for me, really. It's probably the best way to describe it. I learned so much about acting and work just through the great guest stars that we had on and the great, actual series regulars. I got to work with Benjamin Bratt closely for 2 years, and he was just a wealth of knowledge and super kind. Like, honestly, one of the nicest people I've ever gotten to meet. I'm lucky that casting thought I was attractive enough to be his son. So that was a big feather in my cap, if you will. And then I met Whoopi Goldberg on that. I did some really, really great work with some really great people on that. So yeah, The Cleaner was probably hands down one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
Wasn't there like a storyline where you were getting into drugs or something? I feel like there was something going on with that. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I was rebelling. I never got into the drugs.
Okay.
I was starting to rebel. That was around the same time they decided to straighten my hair to make me look older.
Yes.
One director decided to straighten my hair. Excellent guy. His name, Leon Achizo, wonderful guy. But yeah, they decided to straighten my hair in one episode. I think it was like episode 3 of that season. And so then for the entire season, I had to go in, and I have it's up in a bun, but I have very curly hair. So it took probably like an extra hour every single day to just get my hair like a full Brazilian blowout, and then just the tiniest little straighteners that hair and makeup would have right on set to be like, oh no, it's coming back. You got a little sweaty. And I'm like, yeah, it's been all day. So yeah, one decision made me look older. Exactly. One decision made me do that the whole time. Although it's really hard to complain about having someone play with your hair for a long time. It kind of feels nice. Fall asleep
in the chair.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Wake me when I need to be on set, please.
Oh my gosh. And that one's a fun audition story if you want to get into that one.
Give it to me.
Oh yeah. So The Cleaner, again, I think, gosh, I had to be 14 or 15 when I got on the show. And we did initial auditions, callbacks, producer session, and then a final session with network. And my heart was beating out of my chest. I mean, it would be today. There's no difference ever, I think. But I was so nervous, and I was like, I should make them laugh. I should try to tell a joke.
Oh no.
What do I say? And so I went out. I did an initial read. Another kid who was auditioning for the same part went in and did his read. Then they called me back in the room to talk more and do another read with some direction. And when I came back in, I made a joke about not hiring my twin. I don't know.
What?
I don't know why. I have no clue. My brain just broke, and I was so nervous. I know. I was like, oh yeah, did you see that other guy? Looks like me. Don't hire him. He smells bad. And I was like, he's got really bad body odor. And and they laughed. But I was like, where did that come from? Why would
pure nerves kicking in.
Yeah. They weren't, I don't even know like the words that came out of my mouth. And somehow they still liked me enough and gave me the role. Maybe the joke was better than I recall, but I don't think it was.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they laughed at like how funny it was that you were trying to be funny. Maybe it was like the joke was more on you than the joke.
Yeah. No, for sure. It was, That was the most nervous I've been, I think, ever.
Network
Probably
is
aside from my wedding.
extremely nerve-wracking. Yeah. Network is extremely nerve-wracking. You're standing there in front of like 20, 30 people and you're just like, oh shit, I have to perform now. Okay.
Seriously, and at 15, I mean,
Yeah.
I had one that was an even bigger mess up before that. It was right before we met, I think. So I'm probably 12 years old at this point.
11, 12, yeah.
And it was for a TV show called Reanimated. And I was in the final round. I think it was at Network. It was a chemistry read. And I was so nervous and so young and like so not used to the audition casting process. It was my first time in LA. It was my first big thing in LA. And I got the giggles, like the worst case of the giggles in the audition. I bombed it. I fully bombed the audition. Like it was me and one other kid. And then obviously I couldn't stop laughing the whole time.
Oh my God.
So it wasn't me. But you know, that was a lesson. That was a big lesson.
Do you remember like what spurred the giggles, or were you just so nervous that you just started laughing?
Yeah, it was the guy who was the nerves at 100,000% as well. But the guy who ended up actually being the father on the show, I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he just did something so funny in the room, and I started laughing, and then the nerves just took over, and I couldn't stop laughing. And I walked out and I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, I think I messed up. He was very funny. And then I laughed too much. And I will never forget being in that room, just going, Brett, you need to stop laughing, and not being able to stop laughing.
That's honestly the hardest though, is even when you're on set, because that happens all the time when you're on set.
Oh, the giggles are great when you're on set.
Yeah. Oh, they're fantastic. But then trying to actually get through a take is literally impossible. Like it takes so long to be able to just stop laughing and do the work.
Right. And just 1,000 times you're going, it's okay, I got this. No, okay, I got this. Just constantly. Oh, it's such a good feeling though.
Yeah. Okay, so after the cleaner, well, you and I did Misbehave, which was fun.
Yes.
And then you did more guest spots and films, and then when did XOXO like land at your doorstep? When did that happen?
Ooh, XO is actually cool. I was don't drink, kids, but I was hungover very badly one day, and I got a phone call from a friend of mine who said they needed someone to read a script, just a table read, and I was like, I don't feel great, and they're like, please, it'll be fun. It was with a group of friends of mine. My friend Dylan, who wrote it, was the one who asked me to come in. And so I was like, okay, all right, I got you. I'll be there. So I show up, I have a couple Advil. I feel a little bit better. And I meet a handful of people. The director was there, producer, Chris Louie was there. And I do the read, and they just really enjoyed my read. There was no real formal audition process to it. And so I read like 3 different roles. I did a German accent that ended up getting cut from the film. Not for my character, for a completely different character. But it was wonderful. It was super, uber wonderful. It's coming back. And it was just a fun table read day. Said thanks to everyone, moved on. And then a few months later, I got a phone call, and they're like, can you do this teaser trailer for us? We're going to go shoot at, I think it was Hard Day of the Dead, the music festival. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I can. I don't know scheduling wise if it'll work out. And then they said that they told me Sarah Hyland was doing it, who was an old friend of mine as well. And then obviously I knew Dylan, and at this point I knew Chris, the director. And so I was like, all right, you know what? I liked all these people. It'll be a good time. Why not do it? Mm-hmm. Best decision I've ever made. I can't believe almost twice I was like, I don't want to. That's just my bad laziness coming out. But the fact that I went was, I guess life-changing really, because that was one of the coolest projects I ever got to work on.
You can shop from anywhere doing pretty much anything. You might shop while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast. And however you shop, we all know and love the thrill of the hunt. But do you also know how to get the thrill of the best deals? Because Rakuten shoppers do. With Rakuten, they get the deals they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Sephora, Nike, and even Expedia if you're looking to get some travel in. And getting cash back doesn't mean you have to miss out on sales because those can just be stacked right on top. It's easy to use and based on a simple idea. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back through PayPal or check. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten. As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But we also sell merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell and grow at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. They have an all-in-one e-commerce platform and in-person POS system, so wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. Shopify has allowed us to share something tangible with the podcast community we've built here, selling our beanies, sweatshirts, and mugs to fans of our shows without taking up too much time from all the other work we do to bring you even more great content. And it's not just us. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Shopify is also the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/REALM now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
And so we do the teaser trailer, maybe almost a year goes by. And I get a phone call from my agent manager saying, hey, they want to bring you in for, the final round of XOXO. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, cool. Great. I wasn't aware that I was auditioning against other people at that point.
Yeah.
Because I had, done everything
all
else.
The things.
I'd originated the character and everything.
Yeah.
But, obviously I'm never too good for an audition. That's why we have all these stories. And so I go in, but I was so nervous. The lead kid from Teen Wolf was there auditioning against me. And I'm like, what? Tyler Posey was there.
Tyler
and I was
Posey.
Like, they're going to hire him. Why am I here? And I was so nervous, and it wasn't my best read, but because I had done it in the past and because I'd had, now a relationship with the director,
right.
They knew that I was capable of it. And I was just like, that was the most thrown off I'd ever been. I walked into a room where I thought it was just like a formality thing.
Yeah.
And
then you see these people who are like on hit television shows at the time, and you're like, excuse me?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh God, I feel like this is a hit. They tricked me. They brought me in here, and now they're going to kill me in the back room.
Yeah.
So 100%
they're going to kill me in the back room.
And luckily they didn't kill me in the back room, and they did give me the role. And and then I got to film at so many music festivals. It ruined music festivals for me because I had full artist access everywhere when we were at the festivals. So we go backstage, and there was just free Red Bull and nice bathrooms and relaxing places to sit when you wanted to get away from the craziness of a
so how did that
fest.
work? You were filming at real festivals.
Yeah.
So did you guys have actual sets? Did you have real sets, or did you have trailers, or did you have anything that you would normally have on a regular film set?
Yeah, we had trailers, and because obviously there's, artists at these festivals, they had artist rooms that they allow us to use. Chris Louis, the director, had a relationship with. He was in music before, so he was in music videos, and so he knew a lot of the artists, and that's actually how we got the artist Panda, the EDM artist. He gave us the first 10 minutes of his set, so that was literally our set. I got on stage. They thought Graham and I were like actual artists. 40,000 people were out in front of us at the headline show, and it was the coolest feeling. I'm half naked. I'm wearing shorts and a rainbow vest, which I have in the closet if you want to see it. Don't tell production. I mean, and I'm literally just shirtless with a rainbow vest on, dancing around on stage. Pyrotechnics are going off. The music's bumping. The whole crowd is just moving. Like, that was the coolest thing. So yeah, we didn't really have sets when we were at the festivals. We shot other stuff off site and at different locations that we needed a bit more control for, obviously. But yeah, the crowd was crazy. And
I bet
we literally
that
would just be walking
supervisor
through.
too was losing her shit or their shit
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's no continuity. How do you do any sort
No.
of continuity in that?
No, quick cuts is how you do that. Poor audio, like the whole sound group. They you just can't. We had to. We cut out a lot of the dialogue that was at the festival because you can't really, like you said, there's no continuity from line to line when it's just constantly in the background. And then obviously we had, Sarah Hyland in it, who was very recognizable, especially at the time, at any time. And we'd be in the middle of a scene with, me and her walking through the crowd, and then they would have to stop because someone ran up and was like, can I get a selfie? Can I get a selfie? And obviously the character was not Sarah Hyland. It was just a girl at a festival. So we lost a lot of takes like that. But it was, it was such a cool experience really to be able to be part of those festivals and to be part of such a fun project. I think it turned out awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun movie to watch. I love that movie. So what else? You did XOXO, and then now you're obviously working on different films and shows, but then you went to, did you UCLA before or after XOXO?
That was before. Yeah, that was before. Yeah, so I did a directorial certificate over there just for, I think it was 1 or 2 years. And that was just, I'd been working as an actor for so long. I'd always been so interested in the production side of it and the directorial side of it. So I said, well, I'm in a good place to learn about this. I might as well go take some classes. So yeah, I think I was like 19 or 20 and I did that program, and it was, or maybe I could have been younger. I don't even know. But it was a really fun program. Got to make a lot of shorts for myself and, with my friends. And it forced me to be creative constantly, which I think, and I'm sure you can relate. It's hard to push yourself sometimes, you know what I mean? When no one's knocking at your door going, you need to get this done. You need to go do this.
I know.
You sit down and write.
Maybe we should create an accountability group where we could all just yell at each other all the time and say, write the damn script.
I'm super down for that. Oh, I like that. Take you in the back room. Is this a hit again? Why am I getting murdered everywhere?
It's because you're Italian. Let's be real.
I know, you can't even see my necklace. I guess I do have a pinky ring on. Yes, I can attest. Jillian does not dislike Italian people.
I love Italian people. It's okay.
I 1000%.
Okay, so what else are you working? What are you doing right now? What are you doing, man?
I just did. I did a little stint on Animal Kingdom that will hopefully be airing soon. That was a lot of fun. I got to. Oh, I guess I can't say too much about it because it hasn't aired yet.
No, you can't.
But I got to enjoy being on Animal Kingdom.
You got to use your long quarantine hair for some good.
Oh my gosh, yes, it finally made its debut.
Look at that. Look at those locks.
Oh, I'll let it down for the rest, I guess.
Beautiful.
That's actually a fun audition story. I was visiting my parents in Massachusetts, and I obviously didn't have any of my equipment with me for Animal Kingdom. And And so I had a small, I think I actually have it. Yeah, I have it right here. Hang on. If you see that I have shorts on, don't judge me. Ugh.
I too have pajama shorts on. Okay.
no one wears real pants anymore. Let's get with it. So this is all that I had. This tiny
what is that?
Gorilla Grip tripod. It's just a little baby tripod. You can kind of wrap it around things. So whenever I travel, I bring that because the world we live in is full of self-tapes at this point.
Oh, I fully remember being like in Oklahoma with you and having to set up like 12 different books on top of each other to try and get a self-tape done.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. We were trying to find pillows and books and anything semi-solid. And it was on like an iPhone 1.
Yeah.
It was probably like an iPhone 3.
Yeah. But they definitely couldn't hear your audition. Like, there's no way.
No. And I didn't get that. But I was working on another film at the time, so it was okay.
So it's okay.
But yeah, this was literally, for Animal Kingdom, this was all I had. And I had also just been hanging out that whole day. So I had like a beer or two earlier, and I never do that when I work, obviously. So I was like, okay, I'll shoot this audition. And I didn't have anywhere to put that, no books to stack. So my parents had this easel, and I literally wrapped this around the easel, and I had no light, and I had to go searching through my parents' garage to find an old lamp that just had a shade, so it was like diffused light, and I just put it right next to the easel. None of this was stable.
Good. We love that.
Yeah, it was stable for the shot, but it should have fallen off, and it could have fallen off at any given moment. I don't know how. And then when they called and said I booked it, I was like, is my lighting setup like nice? Is it too nice? Should I do it worse every time?
Honestly, maybe there's a method in that. Like, maybe it's okay to look like shit sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I look like shit often, so I believe it's okay.
No, you don't.
But I know, that was the funniest. I literally was standing on chairs, taping over lighting fixtures because I needed the overhead lights for light in the room.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, there was too much overhead light in that one spot.
Super moody, and they were like, oh, he really has the tone of the show down.
And you know what? In retrospect, probably accurate, because they are a moody show without giving anything away.
They were like, oh wow, he understands us.
He gets us.
He put in a lot of effort to make it look like it was us.
Yeah. And if anyone from Animal Kingdom is listening, that's exactly what I did.
That's exactly what happened.
Thank you so much. It was pure my decision, not at all my circumstances.
No, not at all. Not at all. Do you know when that starts airing? I want to see this. I want to watch it.
Yeah, I think it starts airing in April or May.
Okay, so soon.
Still a few months out. Yeah, they got a little delayed because of obviously COVID and everything. They got pushed back almost a full year on their production schedule, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess I can't really say much more. I don't want to get sued.
Please don't.
Man.
I don't need that.
Not another one.
Not another time. Goddamn
NDA.
That you know of.
Yet. Yeah, there's still time.
There's so much time to be sued. Oh my god. What else? All right, you got any other funny stories you want to share before we sign off?
Sure. Let's see. I made notes so I can make sure that I was interesting.
Your notes app?
I already talked about the body odor.
Yeah, we did that one.
Not good. Oh, here's a fun one. This was actually, I don't recommend doing this ever.
Okay.
But, when you go to a lot of auditions, and Jillian, you've been to probably just as many, if not more than me. Probably more, actually. I take it back. More. Sometimes there'll be a producer or someone in the room who doesn't really want to be there, but has to be there.
Yeah.
And, usually I'll just let it go if they're not paying attention. Mm-hmm. But this one day, I knew I wasn't going to get the role. I wasn't right for it, aesthetically. Luckily, I was at, the third round of callback, so I did well enough to get there. But once I got in there and they stopped paying attention, I was like, okay, I'm going to have a little fun. So this guy's sitting on his BlackBerry. I just dated myself. This guy's sitting on his BlackBerry, scrolling
Blackberry,
through.
what is this, 2008?
It was probably 2008 or 9. I don't know. No. And he's scrolling, and I was like, I prepared I prepared 14 pages for this audition, good sir. You will pay attention. So every time he looked down at his phone, I just stopped. I just waited until he looked up, and then I continued. I just picked up my line
Wow.
right where he left off, and I was like, no, I'm going to make you watch me. I didn't get that role, so that's why I don't suggest doing this. But I felt so good. It was like taking
That's
back a
like-
modicum of power.
Yeah, that's very empowering to be like,
Yeah,
no,
100%.
you have to pay attention to me. Like, I've done the work. I've put in the freaking time. I do
Yeah.
everything to be here. And then you can't have the decency to just watch me for 5 minutes? Screw you.
Right. And he was so confused. His face was so confused every time I kept stopping. And he just kept, what are you? And he'd go back to his email, and I'd be like, okay, I'll be quiet. Are you ready? All right, let's do this. And I didn't
Okay,
do, I wasn't rude. I didn't say anything. I just
Yeah.
paused every single time.
Honestly, I love that. I feel like
Yeah.
every actor should adapt that so that it's not weird when we do it. So that it's like, no, you have to pay attention to us. We're freaking here.
That'll be part of our accountability group. Have
It
you
will.
silenced any producers?
Have you silenced any producers? That's so frustrating though, because it's like we spend so much free time
Mhm.
working on characters, doing the work, memorizing. It takes hours upon hours to build a good character and a good memorization and to go in feeling completely confident. Sometimes you pay for a freaking coach. You do all
Yeah.
this stuff to be there, and then they don't pay attention to you, and it's just like, excuse me. Am I not, is
Seriously.
my time not valuable? Am I not valuable? Because if I'm not, I'm just going to leave then. Like, why the
Yeah.
hell am I here? If you
That's
already
why.
have
So
somebody,
I was literally at the point where I was like, I don't want to be here right now. So I was like, well, I
Yeah.
might as well have fun. I might as well, make it a little fun for me.
there you go. And also, like, if you're the producer who doesn't actually need to be there, but you've decided to be there just because you wanted to, like, power play it, but then you're not going to pay attention to the actors, then don't be there. Like,
Right.
don't
You
be
can
there.
watch the tape. It's all been recorded since I've ever been at auditions. It's
Exactly.
There's
Like,
always
you
a
can
camera in the
rewatch
room.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then let me see if there's any other good ones
That's a
too.
move. I like that move.
Do it.
If
There
I'm
was
ever
one.
in like an audition room where that happens to me again, I probably will. It feels like
Yeah,
a good
if
move.
there's ever rooms again, that would be so cool.
Yeah,
to be back
if
in an
there are
audition room.
rooms again.
Yeah, there's one. Okay, there's one funny one I got. I John Papsadera, the
Mhm.
casting director.
Yeah.
Wonderful dude. I love reading for him. He always has great readers. He always casts
And he
great
pays
projects.
attention to you.
And that's all he does.
Always.
He cares so much when you're in that room. Honestly, he's probably one of my favorite people to read for.
Yeah.
But so he had an old casting location that was like a house,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a pool. And there was one day it was like 90 degrees in LA. So I did my read. It went really well. Always does with John because of John. And then I went to the casting associate who was, in the lobby, the main house area. And I said, does anyone ever use the pool? And she's like, well, no, but we have towels if you want to hop in. And I was like,
What?
yeah, are you cool with that? And she was like, totally. So I just popped my shirt off, went on I don't know if there was a diving board. Maybe there was. I don't know. Popped my shirt off and just jumped right in with my jeans on, swam around for like 10 minutes, just floated on my back, enjoying the beautiful day in that beautiful house. I could not believe it. And I just hopped out and she handed me a towel and she was like, I'm so glad you did that. No one has ever used this pool. And I'm like, I'm so glad I did it too. That was so much fun.
Oh my God.
Sadly, he's no longer at that location. His current location is an art gallery, which is really cool, but no swimming pool.
Wait, so have you talked to John about this ever? Have you been like, hey, by the way, I went swimming in your pool? Or did he know?
I think John knows. I mean, he was up in the guest house where they did the casting at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't have heard me splashing around for 10 minutes. Or like no one would have mentioned the kid who,
Wait,
at that point, I just shaved my head too. So I was like, the kid who just shaved his head jumped in the pool.
Were there other people like walking past you then to go to their auditions while you're just doing laps?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. That's what's called a mind game, and that's how you win.
Honestly,
Although I didn't get that role, I don't think.
If you wanted to screw with people's heads, that is like the best way to do it. Just be the kid who jumps in the
swimming
pool
on my back.
Director. Yeah.
I would do it again. I mean, honestly, the fact that they were like, yeah, no one ever does it, but go for it. It was just so fun. I had a good read. It was a pretty day. And I said, I'm going to enjoy this pool. And
So
they didn't kick me out.
I love it. That's amazing. I love that the casting associate was totally like, go for it, man. Do it.
Yeah, I don't think she thought I was actually going to, which is,
and then you have to commit to it,
her.
because then it's like, oh, if she said I can do it, I need to do it.
Yeah, and I was wearing like full black jeans, and I was like, it's really hard to swim. That's the only reason I got out faster. I was like, it's really hard to swim in black jeans, and I'm like, I shouldn't take my pants off. I feel like that's the line you don't cross.
Yeah.
Popping my shirt off was even a little, but it's whatever. I was hoping they'd get like a Baywatch 2.0 audition soon, but nope.
Not yet.
Not yet. John still hasn't called about that one.
Okay. John, if you're listening, just so you know.
Thanks for the pool.
Thanks for the pool. Amazing. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing those. I love those. I loved all of them.
Yeah.
They were really fun.
Oh, well, I love you.
Oh, I love you. And how can people follow you on social media to keep up with your adventures?
I'm at Bretsky on Instagram. That's the one that I use the most. I do have a Twitter. It's at Brett DelBuono. Just one word. So creative.
And you're not on it.
Like
ever.
Never on Twitter. Usually my tweets are my Instagram posts that I link.
Yeah.
So.
Did I see that you just created a TikTok? Did I see that show up in my feed there?
I signed up. I haven't been using it at all. I'm nervous because I don't want to be that. I can try it. You know what I mean?
No, don't do that.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why.
No, we're too old for that. You have to figure out a different niche to fit into.
Andy and I have a niche. Andy and I, my wife and I, are going to make it's a joint one, and I hope you guys will all enjoy this. It's going to be me and her doing old 90s dances.
Love it.
Because she's a dancer and I was a dancer at some point in my life, and now I'm just a dude who doesn't fall over that bad. I still have some balance and posture. That's all I have left.
That's all it is. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm excited to see that. But thank you for coming on, and I'll probably see you very soon.
Yes. All right. Bye. It was so fun.
Yay. Thanks again to Brett for coming on the show and shooting the shit with me. If you're not subscribed to the show, you should do that right now. And if you haven't checked out our social media, then you should do that too, because we post fun videos every weekend. And please make sure to rate, review, and tell your friends about the show, because it really helps me in the show. And I like doing this, so help me continue to do this. And as always, thanks for coming in.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ohanian. You may know me as one of the co-founders of Reddit, but more recently, a large part of my identity is being a father to my two wonderful daughters. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. The one thing I constantly hear successful people say, without fail, is that they wish they'd spent more time with their kids. That's time no one can get back. So I decided to create Business Dad, to engage in the conversation about how we're spending our time now, providing a forum for successful dads to share their joys and challenges of being a working parent. You'll get to hear from a wide range of business dads, from Rainn Wilson and Guy Raz to Todd Carmichael and Shane Battier. And while this podcast will talk about business and will definitely be featuring dads, I think everyone can learn something from these incredible conversations as we unpack the expectations we all have about careers, relationships, and ourselves. Business Dad is available now So be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.